Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at some of the more customizations added for World of Warcraft, and a lot of these are actually kind of surprising. The alpha servers at the time of making this video are down, and they're going to be down until the next morning. So hopefully by the time this video goes out, I'll finally be able to actually test out some of this stuff on the live servers. But we still can take a look at some of this stuff that's planned, and it was awesome for Blizzard to announce Maldraxxus as well, so I cannot wait to explore that region altogether. Let's take a look at some of the changes that are happening to the Tauren, which I found quite exciting actually, because I didn't expect for them to get anywhere near as good as some of the customizations they've gotten so far. So let's take a look at some of the stuff available to mess around with on the alpha. First things first, when you make your own character, now every single one of those tunes has a different stance based on the race and the class. They now will look battle ready to jump into their adventures, whether they are starting from level 1 or are getting boosted to play in Shadowlands. It feels that Blizzard is really putting a lot of effort into this character creation screen, and I do like some of the stuff that they're doing here. Also, another thing to note, some of these classes have had their transmogs, or the tier sets that they're wearing in the preview window, changed completely, and I think some of them look actually quite amazing. The first ones, like the warrior, hunter, and mage, are all pretty simple, but the rogue actually starts in stealth animation, and while it doesn't work for every single race out there, for humans in particular, you can see that the character is actually in stealth, so it makes the whole transmog look that much more badass. When it comes to priest, you actually have probably the most epic spell effect. It looks a little bit funky for Tauren because they're too big for the screen, but overall priests just look battle ready to either destroy some enemies with holy Siri magic or to save allies in a moment of trouble. The warlocks still have the same transmog, but now sport a little bit extra purpley effects from their hands. It absolutely looks amazing, and I would like to see this effect change between green, purple, and red based on the 3 different specs that you have. Paladins have also gotten a brand new transmog altogether, and I think this one looks a lot better than what Blizzard previously had. I think the hammer in the right hand for some of the races maybe looks a little bit too big and kind of out of place, but for other races it actually looks pretty proportional, so maybe that's something that Blizzard needs to adjust. Druids have finally got a tier set added to them, and Blizzard decided to go with the Warlords of Draenor tier set. It looks quite good no matter what race you're looking at. I would have loved to take a look at Night Elves for this build, but Night Elves as of right now, last time I tested, are disabled. Same thing for Shamans. Now you have a little bit more of this ready to cast some Shaman spells effect, and you do have again a Warlords of Draenor tier sets to support for every single Shaman, now included with a Lightning Shield and Lightning in your hands. The Monk tier set is about the same, and it's pretty plain. What I do like is the 3D bits with the bells in the shoulders and kind of how they jangle. And if I'm not mistaken, for Demon Hunters, this is the very first tier sets that Demon Hunters were able to obtain. Either they were able to obtain pieces that look just like it in the Emerald Nightmare, but also the same pieces that were doubled up for the Nighthold raid, which does look quite good. For Death Knights, it is kind of funny because they do have Bone Shield animation, the old school Bone Shield, however, which looks maybe a little bit dated, but the rest of the mods and the battle animations do look quite good. I do think that Blizzard maybe should reconsider Bone Shield and maybe replace it with Bone Storm, an ability that's similar but now has a much higher graphical fidelity. Either way, Death Knights and all the other classes in the character creation do look quite good. If you're a druid, then you're probably super not excited about all these customizations, because most of the time you're going to be spending your time as a druid in either cat form, bear form, or the moonkin form, unless you decide to glyph yourself. So all these customizations you won't really get to explore and enjoy on your character. However, it does seem that Blizzard is going to be adding some druid customizations, particularly with which forms you want to run. It says right now, in Shadowlands, druids can travel to the local barbershop to choose the bear and cat form. This addition to the barbershop service will also include the option to select bear and cat form artifact appearances, so all druid specs can have a choice of shapeshift into unlocked artifact appearances, so like guardian feral druids to have more choices with weapon transmogs when choosing artifact form. Now, this doesn't guarantee that if we were to log in tomorrow on the alpha as a balanced druid or as a resto, could you somehow, some way use the guardian druid artifact weapon forms as your bear form? So could you be a restoration druid, and when you pop into bear form, could you be the gorilla bear? Or could you be a balanced druid, but when you press dash, you're now the star kitty form from the feral mage tower skin if you unlocked it? I do wonder, because it does sound like from the blue post that Blizzard wants to allow you more forms to pick from, which is awesome, but we cannot guarantee because, well, we don't have any time on the alpha right now to log on. But either way, if you are a guardian druid, you'll have more options for forms that you can pick from. If you are a feral druid, balanced druid, and resto, you'll have all the different aquatic forms, travel forms, cat forms, and bear forms for you to pick. That's going to be different than your weapon choice for transmogs or your character's appearance. So at least there's going to be some customization if you are a druid. Also, there are some rumors that potentially the fire cat form might be a possible form that druids might be able to shapeshift to in the future of Shadowlands. I guess only time will tell if Blizzard will end up going with the idea. Another bit of customization is going to be with the Tauren. Now this one we kind of sort of knew what they were going to do. They were going to do body paint and different fur, hair colors, whatever you would describe for the Tauren. But it looks like Blizzard added even more. And I want to showcase some of these nifty new additions that you can have for your character. Started with necklaces, you can have a little totem or a tooth as a necklace for your character. Whether your character is more attuned with shamanistic or druid-like, or maybe like a hunter decided to have like a pendant from a kill, it's going to definitely add a little bit extra roleplay value for Tauren in case you're into that kind of stuff. Maybe your Tauren is more of like a village elder, so you want to make him be a little bit more distinguished than everybody with some ornaments from their tribe. Or maybe you think it's too bright outside and you want to put some curtains up, you could totally go for some bangs in order to block out the sun. While this looks silly and funny and interesting, I do like some of these changes, some fresh new things that I didn't expect for Tauren to have. And that's just the male Tauren. The female Tauren are actually adorned with a variety of different things from, well, lots of flowers. They actually have a lot of hair options that have flowers in them. And I wonder if it'll be potentially possible in the future to change the color of the flower. You have different earrings, you have different haircuts, different styles of bangs that the males might not even have. A couple different horn options that usually the males are looking more accentuated with the horns, but now females will actually be able to have quite an interesting look with that element added onto, and everything down to nose piercing. So it's actually quite cool the amount of work that Blizzard put into both the male and female Tauren. How many of you actually play a female Tauren? I don't know that many people that do, but I'm still yet to unlock my Tauren heritage armor. And for one of my characters, I definitely could swap him to a Tauren, like a Tauren priest, or maybe a Tauren warrior. I think with some of these combinations, you really could make like a punk-like Tauren female character with flowers and bangs and kind of actually fitting to like a warrior fantasy style. And on top of it, I could also go and unlock the heritage armor together with that. So if you're someone who never done it, it definitely is worth consideration. But again, I'm actually surprised with how much detail the Blizzard is putting into the Tauren. I didn't expect it. I thought we were just going to get some different furs, maybe body paint, and that's it. But the details you get to do with the character later on in the Shadowlands does make me kind of excited. I wonder if some of these changes will also be applied to the high mountain Tauren, who have quite a bit of customization, but a couple different like nose rings and horn options and stuff like that. It would be kind of cool to see those kind of features also be applied to high mountain Tauren maybe at a later time in the patch cycles. But anyway, that's going to be all the stuff we have for some of the customizations for our hoofed friends. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Let me know your thoughts about all the updates. Cannot wait to show you guys more of the Shadowlands Alpha, especially the zones of Moldraxxus, as soon as Alpha is back up and running. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see all of you guys in another video.